Hello, everyone. Welcome again. I'm Martina Trucco from Micron, and I'm joined today by Scott DeBoer, Executive Vice President of Technology and Products. Scott, thanks so much for joining me.
Sure, glad to be here, Martina. Thank you.
Scott, tell us a little bit more about your role at Micron.
Sure, I actually have two roles significantly. First, I lead the technology and products development organization for the company. So our new technology development and then eventually delivering the products to our business units to take to market. And then as a second function, I also head up the Boise site. So we have about 6,000 people, and it's a large, more than 6,000 people, and it's a large operation here in Boise. It's our corporate headquarters, as well as our technology center of excellence.
6,000 plus people is really a lot of people to worry about when you need to think about keeping them safe in times like these. Can we talk a little bit more about what are some of the things that you've been doing as the site leader along with the Micron team to keep all those folks safe?
Sure. We've obviously spent a lot of time thinking about and being proactive on how we keep our team members in Boise safe. We have had a significant advantage in that we have obviously many global operations, and we've been able to see this crisis situation evolve through different stages before it came to Idaho and before we had to start dealing with cases in the state. And we were able to actually take many of the things that had already been implemented across the world, like thermal sensors, which we installed before there were any cases in Idaho, and distancing protocols and cleaning protocols across the site that really let us make our team members know that that we're out in front of this and doing everything we can to make the site very safe for them.
And it sounds like we've been really ahead of kind of the minimum requirements in many places. We learned quite a bit from our sites from other parts around the world with that as well. I think if I heard correctly, we had probably about 48 hours where we moved about 60% of our folks into a work from home scenario. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Sure, we did. We had a really exciting time in getting our team off of the site, and it was really actually really amazing to watch the teamwork and the collaboration across all the people on the site working together to figure out how to efficiently get themselves into work from home environments, and our whole IT department working hard to make sure that we were set up and had the right infrastructure for our team to work effectively from home. And obviously for us as a site with many functions across it, all the way from legal and HR and IT, and of course the development and engineering teams. We had a lot of different kinds of job functions that we had to figure out how to make effective in a work from home environment. So it's really just been an amazing collaboration across many people to make this happen.
Well, and speaking of those different functions, I can imagine that many of the work that happens at our Boise site is typically work that we associate with actually teams being able to collaborate in person on the site. So I thought it'd be great if you tell us a little bit more about what are some of the things that we've learned from this experience that maybe surprised us from a work from home perspective, about where we've seen some changes that have been potentially positive.
Yeah, so we've of course learned many things over these past few weeks. One of the things that we have, of course, really put our effort into is video conferencing and spending a significant amount of time, with our teams, with the different people that we work with every day, and coordinating ourselves to be able to be on video calls and interact together. And I think there's many dynamics to this environment right now, but one of the interesting ones for us is, of course, we traveled a lot in order to put our technology in different places and to work with our teams across the world. And we'd come to an expectation of how much we actually had to travel in order to be successful. And we've really actually found ways to be more connected in many different aspects, just by being on video conferences all the time and not having all the travel and the different time spent on airplanes across oceans and different things. So certainly there's challenges in work from home, and from a development point of view, there's a huge benefit to having people engaged, running into each other, talking about complicated problems, and doing that in an ad hoc way. And we're still learning how to do that better, but we're definitely more connected in many ways right now because of the need to be very intentional about communicating with someone on a video call instead of just accidentally running into them in the hallway.
Well, and I think it's so interesting when you were talking about teamwork as well, because this certainly is a very different mode of teamwork when we're in the remote collaboration. But I know the Boise team is also really known for being very active in the community in terms of also the teams giving back through volunteering, and that has probably changed a lot given all the situation that we're in. But I thought it would be really interesting to talk about that too, because I know there's some amazing work that our team members have been doing to help provide relief and response efforts in the community there locally. So can we talk a little bit more about some of that?
Yeah, absolutely. There's, one of the things that is, as site leader, I've had, the opportunity to interact with many people just with ideas about how to help, and so many emails from people suggesting different things that they think could potentially be beneficial, not just inside of Micron, but to the community, as you mentioned, and definitely reflective on the spirit of volunteerism and giving that we have, in the Boise area. But we've had a couple of really amazing examples. One in particular that I like to talk about. We had one of our team members mentioned, actually sent me a email early one morning. He'd watched the news and he saw this plastic shield that had been built and was being used in Chicago in a real hot spot by one of the doctors, and it was a really striking video because it was right inside of the emergency room. And there was things going on real time, and there's this shield, and he mentioned how important it was to have this plastic shield to be able to work on the person, but help prevent his, the medical workers from being exposed. And anyway, this employee sent me an email in the morning and said, "I think we can build this. We have a machine shop, one of the many functions we have on the Boise site, when we have a plastic shop there." And they, followed through on that, worked with the team who communicated with local hospitals. Within 24 hours, our machine shop had built some prototypes of this. We'd already got them over to St. Luke's, one of the local hospitals, and they gave us some feedback on how to make them better. And pretty soon we had worked out a whole plan to build, a number of these and provide them to local hospitals all across the state now. Actually, St. Luke's is looking at putting them all across the state. So all from an email in one morning to having all that done within just a couple of days.
I mean, it's an incredible example of Micron sort of innovation and ingenuity being put to really good use for the community here. It's a great example. Micron has really led the community in a number of ways in Idaho as well. And how do you think some of these early responses and steps that we've taken at Micron have contributed to kind of controlling the spread of COVID in the area?
Well, we're, Micron is a very significant part of the Boise community in many ways, and not just the specific number of employees that we have, but of course our families and friends and supplier base and different things that we influence the community in a big way. So we have tried very hard to set a good example for what we think are safe practices. We've definitely shared with the community. We've had, I mentioned we put thermal scanners in our facilities very early. We provided extra thermal scanners to the hospitals, trained them on the use of those. We interacted with the police department and trained them on the use of thermal scanners. And I think just having the community know and talk about how proactive we're being on trying to keep people safe and openly sharing what we're doing to do that, I think is having a positive influence on the community that I know our team feels very happy about, very positive about.
That's fantastic. I love those examples. And maybe, Scott, if we can wrap things up, it sounds like we've had lots of interesting learnings. We've had lots of impact on the community. Certainly our team members are appreciating us doing everything that we can to keep them safe. But is there anything through all of this that has surprised you about working remotely and this situation?
Well, I think one of the things, and I don't know if it's that surprising, but we had a lot of discussion across the company about how many roles could be done from home and can't be done from home, and a lot of people who wanted to work from home, who thought it would be great. And I think all of us have gone through a real learning experience here. One, that you can do a lot more from home and stay a lot more connected than we would have ever believed before. So there's many functions that, truly we would have thought 4 months ago were impossible to do from home that are actually very effective. But the other one is this work from home is it's a really personal experience. I'd say many people absolutely hate working from home, and they would have never known that before. And certainly I'm one of them. So I think depending on your personality, working from home just really is either something that you could do or you really dislike. And then other people, have thought they wouldn't want to do it. And now they think, wow, I think I'd like to do this a few days a week. So I think it's going to change the way we do business going forward after this is all over.
Well, certainly I can imagine that you're looking forward to getting back into your office sometime soon. But in the meantime, really appreciate you sticking it through for us. It's a great example for our team in Boise and for Micron across the world. So thanks so much for joining us, Scott. Really appreciate it.